1 p.m. check, Wednesday check, Nathan Quao check. It only means one thing. The Premier League Preview Show is live and is back on Facebook. We're also live on City TV. This is where we look ahead to a match week that will be fascinating, that will be gripping, and that will leave us with more questions than answers. It's the Premier League Preview Show live. Of course, the coverage is brought to you by Premium Bank, Slide Pay, and Betway. We take a short break. When we come back, we open the box, we take everything out, break it down, and put it back together. Hi, we are back. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you don't know what this is the biggest preview on earth. It's the Premier League Preview Show live on Facebook, live on City TV. Nathan Quao here. My partner in crime, Benjamin Nketsia, is back. So last week he was in a Spurs shirt.
Yeah.
Today you're in a Chelsea shirt. Are you celebrating their 6-0 win from last night?
No, I'm on a quest to wear every Premier League jersey before the season ends.
We'll put you up on that. But just quick thoughts. Man United, Chelsea both starting the Champions League on a good note. Liverpool, Spurs play tonight. The English teams would want to warm themselves up well for this one.
Yeah, and because I'm in a Chelsea shirt, I want to talk about Zappacosta.
Yeah. Great goal.
Zappacosta, fantastic goal. He's actually confessed that goal was actually meant to be a cross.
Well,
but we don't mind.
Anyway.
We don't mind here because it was a fantastic goal and it was a good way to announce himself to the Chelsea faithful. The only person who won't be too happy with that goal is Victor Moses, because now he will be thinking that I have competition. But for Antonio Conte, that's healthy competition to have in a team. Talking about Man United, I mean, they laboured a bit in their game. They were finding Basel a little difficult to break down initially, but my man Marouane Fellaini came through once again. And I say it out there, if you're a United fan listening to me and you have ever slanted Marouane Fellaini and also Ashley Young, shame on you wherever you are.
That cross from Young was brilliant. I mean, I saw
it
was all Young.
That's vintage Ashley Young, but of course United fans see something else.
Anyway, tonight the Spurs and Liverpool, both of them will hope to start, but they play very tricky teams. Liverpool hosts Sevilla, and Liverpool's record at home against Spanish teams, terrible. Spurs at Wembley aren't doing too good, and they face a team that's very good in Borussia Dortmund.
Well, I think that Liverpool will take a feather from that Champions League final or the Europa League final they played against Sevilla, and it should be their motivation points. We've always said this, and we repeat it again. When Liverpool find a reason to play, they win. And they've been away from Europe's biggest stage so long that, I mean, starting with Istanbul is just a no-no for them at this stage. Because when you are going up against a team that thwarted you to possibly the silverware that would have
and a
been
Champions League spot from
exactly a jump to bigger things. Now you have a chance to atone for it. I expect Jurgen Klopp not to set up in that funny manner in which he set up in the game against Manchester City because he was looking up to Sevilla. Now the full course meal is here. I want him to bring. He should bring his full squad to the table. Philippe Coutinho hopefully should be getting back into the mix. Hey, who says you can't play Champions League football with Liverpool? The Champions League football is here. You don't have to go to Barcelona to get it. So hopefully he will be in the mix.
For Spurs, what's the formula for them? Because they face Dortmund, who are very good. Yes, they may have lost a few players, but the key elements are still there, and they also want to have a shot at winning Europe's big prize.
Well, another team that needs to sort out their heads with regards to Champions League football. And basically, I believe that Spurs' Champions League problem is more mental than actually what manifests on the pitch with legs and brains. I mean, I look at what they've done so far. Even in the Europa League, they struggle against the smallest and the least fancied of sides. Anderlecht, Club Brugge, and the likes. Now you come up against a team like Dortmund. Never mind that Dortmund do not necessarily have players considered Champions League masters. But again, they've shown over the years that when it comes to these type of games, especially teams of their stature, they can navigate them. So for Mauricio Pochettino, the script will be clear. Set out your team to be combative from the beginning. Try to get an early goal, because look, Germans don't know an away ground or a home ground as far as Europe is concerned. Anyway. They go out there and they take care of their business. So Tottenham need to take care of business. What will be taking care of business in this game? Get an early goal, dictate the tempo of the game to the end. If you give Dortmund a 10-minute, 15-minute stretch to settle down in this game, they could get 2 goals, and that's what we've seen. Every time they've conceded goals in the Champions League, the goals have come in very close spurts. So they could play a 0-0 encounter to about the 60th minute, and then between the 60th and 70th minute, they concede 3 goals. So Tottenham, one, they need to watch that particular thing, and then they need to keep their heads grounded. Look, forget about all the failures in Europe prior to this game. Forget about all that. Get out there and play some football. Hopefully, we should see Serge Aurier in there. I mean, I'm glad that he will get a chance to play in the Champions League, turn a new slate for a new team. Hopefully, we should see the real Serge Aurier, the one I believe is among the top 5 right backs in the world.
So we'll say, will the real Serge Aurier please stand up? We'll find out later tonight when Spurs take on Borussia Dortmund. But let's focus then on Crystal Palace, and all of a sudden they've become the talking point. So 77 or 78 or 79 days ago, they employed Frank de Boer, thinking that they would work. Chairman Steve Pye said he had been brought in to evolve, to take the team from one point to the other. Well, he didn't take them anywhere. 4 losses, 0 points, 0 goals. He's been chopped off, and now his replacement is Roy Hodgson. Some people don't think he's the man for the job. Joey Barton thinks he doesn't have enough personality, but some people say if he can guide Fulham to a UEFA Cup final, then you can do the job at Crystal Palace.
Well, that was some time ago, but again, let's just quickly bring back the whole De Boer situation, and I get the sense that Crystal Palace, or some individuals in the Crystal Palace boardroom, did not want De Boer hired anyway, because look, the numbers might be daunting, but you look at the details of the matter and you get the sense that not everyone was on the same page when the Dutchman was signing the dotted sheets for the club.
What could have caused that problem? Because clearly Steve Parish, the chairman, at the unveiling, seemed to think that this man was going to do a good job. Yes, people had raised his bad record at Inter Milan. He totally believed in it. But we found out that 2 weeks ago, everybody seemed to think that this was a project that was heading nowhere.
Exactly. And that was just after 2 games. And that's not something that happens a lot. But again, I look at the numbers and I tell you that the numbers did him more bad than good in this situation. 4 matches, no goals scored. That's the problem for me. No goals scored. You can't play 4 EPL matches without scoring. I mean, I know that teams go through such bad runs mid-season, but you cannot start a campaign off and play 4 games without finding the back on it. And that just saps out the entire confidence of the team, saps out the energy in the team. But I just feel that Crystal Palace really should have waited a little for Frank de Boer. They should have taken their time with him, try to allow him to figure himself out in the upcoming games. But again, you look at the upcoming games as well, and it gives you the sense that it contributed largely to the manager's thinking
on Saturday they face Southampton. Southampton go to Crystal Palace, and the new man will be in charge, Roy Hodgson. What do you think will potentially happen? Because some fans still don't like this appointment. I'm a little too unsure where this one is heading. For Southampton themselves, they also need to start performing better, and I'm sure in their minds this is the perfect time to catch Crystal Palace.
Well, this is the truth. See, there are facts and there are sentiments. The sentiment is that you might think Roy Hodgson is an old, boring head coach. Nice one. The fact of the matter is that he's a way more experienced coach than Frank de Boer will ever be. He has been to places Frank de Boer's managerial mind cannot think about here.
Switzerland,
he's been everywhere.
Inter Milan,
he's been everywhere.
Fulham, West Brom, Liverpool, England national team.
He's been everywhere.
Sweden.
Bags and bags of experience for the man. He's seen it all. He's done it all for me. And most of all, he plays the simple, direct football that the personnel currently at Crystal Palace
play. So you think it could be left off for them?
Primarily, I'm not necessarily saying it's going to be champagne and cherries at the beginning. I'm just saying that, look, it's more suited to what they have. One, it's an Englishman. Two, they will tolerate and bottle his I don't want to use the word, but yes, his funny methods a little longer than they will with the Dutchman, because again, he is one of their own. But most of all, the most important point in there is that he is an unsophisticated manager. De Boer maybe was too sophisticated for his own good.
Too Dutch for his own good. We'll see about that. Dutch managers have a very interesting way of thinking. Louis van Gaal had his own shenanigans at Man United where he didn't end well. But on Friday night, there's a game between Bournemouth and Brighton. That should be exciting. 2 teams chasing points, chasing each other. We'll see how that one plays out. Friday night at 7 is Bournemouth versus Brighton. Saturday is when we open all the fun with Palace and Southampton. That should be interesting. Ben, our second game we want to talk about is Watford. They are at home to Manchester City, and the new look Watford under Marco Silva, very interesting. You can tell that a lot of the ideas he wanted to teach at Hull City are being implemented here by players who are maybe better, but now they are winning on the road, and they gave Liverpool a tough start. They drew 3-3 in that game. They take on the mighty Manchester City, who thumped Liverpool the other day. But what will happen at Vicarage Road? Watford will love this encounter. They would really love to get in there and try to rattle Manchester City.
Well, the truth of the matter is that Marco Silva was a brilliant coach, and it was established last season that he was just coaching a team that just didn't have the personnel to implement his tactics. Now, he's been placed in a team where we felt the other manager was wasting the personnel at his service. And I'm talking about Walter Mazzarri. He had tons and tons of talent. He was bringing in guys on loan, and he just could not find a way to get his blended talent to work. Now, if you look at what Watford have done this season, they've gone back for a little bit of the mix of Kike Flores and a little bit of Marco Silva's own philosophy at Hull City. Okay. So there's a lot more up-tempo pace to their game. There's a lot more high up the pitch pressing. So they are winning balls in the final third and are forcing opponents into errors. And that's how come they scored quite a number of their goals. You've seen also guys like Daryl Janmaat and also Etienne Capoue come in and get goals.
And Doucouré, he's one player who all of a sudden seems to have exploded. He has goals in him. He seems to be the very good blend of a tackler and a good runner with the ball.
Exactly my point. And the truth of the matter is that that's what really makes Watford an unpredictable team, because this is a team that doesn't give you goals from strikers, or you cannot point at this guy and say that he's going to give us the goals. We all know that Troy Deeney used to be the go-to guy. He used to be the go-to guy for Watford, but this time around, not so much. Even when he is in the mix, you get the sense that Deeney is more of a penalty option or a scrap goal option. Now, that's very difficult for an opposing manager to be able to map out and plan out for, because now you don't know if the goal is going to come from the right fullback who is going to be overlapping, the anchor man, the left winger. It could come from anywhere. And that's the great thing about them this season. They showed during that Liverpool game on opening day again also that they are a team with character this time around, and they are ready to fight tooth and nail with any other opponent for maximum points, even if it's just a point they can take away from the match game. That should be the danger for Manchester City. But again, I don't feel as if I felt that Manchester City's game against Liverpool would be their first real test to the defense. But after the red card, the whole game went out the window, and we really could not get a true depiction of what could have been. But Watford will present somewhat of a challenge. I have my doubts as to if they will be able to hold Manchester City to a whole 90 minutes without the citizens breaking through, but that will be interesting to watch. For Manchester City, they've done a couple of good things this season. I did not think that Kevin De Bruyne and David Silva were capable of playing together. But what I have noticed again is that in matches where David Silva is having a stellar outing, Kevin De Bruyne is always under the cloak. And when Kevin De Bruyne is having a stellar outing, David Silva is more or less non-existent in the game being played. So depending on what is happening in this sort of encounter, you might want to sacrifice one of your non-functioning attack-minded midfielders
for a bit more steel.
Depending on what the opponent will throw at you. So it will be interesting to see what sort of mix Pep Guardiola will throw into this one. But I believe that Watford will represent some sort of challenge, first of all for themselves and for Manchester City, but it should be interesting.
We'll see. So that game is at 2 p.m. It's our second live game of the weekend. Watford welcoming Manchester City to Vicarage Road. We'll stay in London, but we go to North London, to Wembley. I mean, not North, but you get what I mean. Wembley, that's where Spurs will be playing at home. To Swansea and our very good friend Jordan Ayew. I told you last week that the cream crackers and series
I need some.
We both need cream crackers and series. It looks like Jordan has certified it. If you're having a tummy upset, cream crackers series, fantastic formula. But let's talk about this one. So it's interesting to talk about Harry Kane. We all thought that this was a fluke. He never scored in August. He actually did not score in August. Just on the 10th September, bang on, 2 straight at Southampton, at Everton last week. And people are starting to say that now the goals will start flowing. We saw Swansea. They lost to Newcastle, but some endeavour was there. But this should be a tough one, because Spurs will feel confident that this is when we should start getting more points on the board.
It almost sounds like a movie title, a book or something. Hurricane and the Curse of August. You know, he never ever gets goals in August. And it's been 3 seasons.
Let me ask you this. Do you think it would work, it would play on his mind that I don't score in August?
I think he likes it. I think he likes the fact that he doesn't score in August, because now he's gone on to win the Goal King on 2 different occasions when he's not scored in the month of August. It's happened again this season. He's probably telling himself, this is probably my good luck charm. This is probably my destiny path, and this is how it goes. So for me, Harry Kane will probably be relishing the fact that he doesn't get goals in August, but he's just that guy who needs to solidify his own legacy. One, with this season's Goal King title, but again, he needs to do it while dragging his team along. How would they be able? How would they be able?
Do you think he's thought so much of that golden boot that there are days when he's thought of only himself on the pitch? Not necessarily being selfish, but I mean, others aren't scoring. He would score 5 and not care if Dele Alli has 1 or not.
I don't necessarily look at Harry Kane as a selfish striker. I mean, not on the level where he sacrifices team goals for individual goals, but I look at him as a striker who is selfish in the default sense that a striker should be selfish. Again, I want to believe that his goals should make an impact on his team, or else they'll be worthless. And then once he gets going, it just fuels the entire team. So for Harry Kane, he needs to know that he has become a leader. He's not just a goal scorer for his team anymore. He's an arrowhead for what Tottenham Hotspur want to do. And he came out himself to say, now look, it doesn't make any sense if for the past 3 seasons we finish in the top 4 and we end up with no silverware to show for it. So it just gives you a sense that, one, there's hunger in that dressing room. So Mauricio Pochettino knows that he has players who are willing to win and are willing to go the extra mile to get the silverware in that locker room.
Do they have the mental fortitude to back it up? Because Mauricio Pochettino has admitted that this team of his is great, it's talented.
Yeah.
It's just that that block in their minds that can't seem to let them free.
I definitely believe that Harry Kane expressing such sentiments is the beginning of diffusing that mental block. So for the coach, he just needs to continue doing what he's doing. Sometimes I feel that as football people, journalists and whatnot, we spend too much time talking technicalities and tactics of the game. Sometimes
there's an emotional and mental part.
Exactly. I actually believe that the emotional and mental part are actually greater than the technical and tactical bits, especially at the pro level. I mean, all those technicalities and whatnot have been thought at the infant.
Players know what to do already.
Exactly my point. Sometimes all you need to whisper to a player before a match day is that you are the best striker in the league. Go out there and do your business. And you will be surprised what kind of performance he will put out there.
So Swansea, what chance do they have? Because they need to start getting points as well.
Let me tell you what chance they have. First of all, they need to hand everybody some cream crackers and some cereals, and then they know that half their problem is solved. But that's all jokes. That's just by the by. The truth of the matter is that Swansea are a very unfancied side in the league. Now, what does that do? That just creates in the mind of opponents that, look, this is a team we should be beating.
Okay.
Swansea can take that and use it as an advantage for themselves. The underdog tag, play with a chip on their shoulder and decide that we are not going to get bullied. But once again, we just come back to the same Swansea problem. They just do not have enough quality to go around the team.
Wilfred Bonny. We saw Renato Sanchez and he was decent. And you could tell that they wanted to really get him going.
Good, you should talk about Renato Sanchez. He nearly went under my radar. So what would I say about that Renato Sanchez debut? I think that basically he put up a display for scouts. If you were looking out for a young player with energy, check. He will check your box. Pace, he will check your box. Good first touch, he will check your box. Aggression, he will check your box. Impact on the game, none at all for me. One, because it felt like every time he touched the ball or every time his teammates had the ball, they were seeking him out with a pass. And it just became overwhelming for him, especially for somebody who was playing in his first game. I believe that Paul Clement is a smart guy. He will realize that Renato is becoming he's becoming a magnet for his team. So they will have to find a way to work around him and also find ways to use him better. I heard him say that he plans on using Renato out on the right wing sometimes. I'm wondering what's going on. Use Wayne Routledge a bit more. Use some of your guys out there.
Play Renato through the middle. I mean, deep in midfield. That's where his strengths are.
So Swansea just need 2 or 3 more quality players, or they could end up like Crystal Palace. What am I saying? They could have a team that is capable of putting up great performances week in, week out, during the spell of 90 minutes, but not just good enough to get over the line and get 3 points. And that's how this sort of game looks like to me. They might just play
go to
great,
Wembley, fight it out, and then lose all
but
3 points.
they will just lack that quality that teams need to get over the edge.
We'll see. So that game is on Saturday at 4:30. Spurs at home to Swansea City. That should be a very, very interesting one. We'll see. Let me go through a few of the messages. We'll take a short break, and then when we come back, we'll dissect the Sunday special because we are at Badu Lounge in Laboni. So Kwame Charles said, if Spurs are playing at Wembley, they can't score. I think Dortmund will win. Okay, that's talking about the Champions League. He says, I pray Klopp doesn't make the mistakes he made against City. Amen. James Bramwick says, I'm watching you live from heaven. Are you dead? Wow. Jesus said Chelsea would lose. Okay. Hello, Bright AFC says we are rolling live. So tune in. Kofi Mpesua says Chelsea. Really Bright aware says the Blues. I want to move to that angle is asking where my jersey is today. Well, I've sacrificed it today. I look more like the manager. All black. Yeah. Kwame Charles says, I love this new Watford team. They must beat City on Saturday. Kwame Ted Dalglish says, Ben, you look good in blue, okay? Elliot Pai says, Pogba will be missed. Pogba has an injury. Looks like he'll miss about 2 to 3 weeks or so. Benjamin Chikudo says, Ben, don't wear that jersey again.
I know they remember my comments from the opening 2 weeks of the preview.
All right. And Olibo on the Zemoni says cream crackers and cereals with a laughing emoji. That's the magic formula. Try that. Cream crackers and cereals. Let's just take a short break. When we come back, we'll look ahead to Sunday's encounter. 2 mega ones. Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, Everton. We are live at Badu Lounge in Laboni near Chase Restaurant. That's where we'll be on Sunday. Quick turnaround. When we come back, we dissect that, read more comments, and then we'll be taking this show home. Back as the Premier League Preview Show live on Facebook, live on City TV. Nathan Quao here, Benjamin Nketsia here. You are out there watching us live on Facebook. Ben, let's talk about Sunday. Sunday we are at the Badu Lounge, fantastic place. It should be an exciting roadshow, our second of the season, and we've got 2 great games to go with it.
Yep.
Chelsea versus Arsenal. Now, most Arsenal fans dislike this game because it never almost ends well. A few weeks ago, we'd be saying that Arsenal would look good in this, but Chelsea seem to have recovered their mojo. And Arsenal might be hungover probably from playing Thursday night football. Chelsea would love to win this game, I tell you. And Antonio Conte will certainly have it in for Wenger. But it's not as straightforward as we think it is.
Well, first of all, I love road shows, and it's good that we'll be inside Laboni at the Badu Lounge. So, I mean, guys, just join us out there. Just
if you don't know where it is, look, it is near Chase Restaurant. Just show up because all kinds of fantastic things will happen. There's a FIFA thing.
Yeah.
We'll be simulating the games on FIFA, predict and win, lucky dip, all kinds of fantastic things. And there's a scrambled image competition, the silhouette competition. If you get it right, you get free drinks.
So basically, there's a lot of surprise goodies for people to win. Just come out there.
Plus, the girls will be coming. Yeah, man.
But the truth of the matter is, Chelsea Arsenal reminds me of Didier Drogba.
Okay.
Didier Drogba. Again, if Arsenal fans have any reason to despair with regards to this game, dispel that thought. Why? Because they are the ones that sent Antonio Conte into tactical rethinking, into rethinking the system that they have now that won them the league. Arsenal won by a convincing margin when the 2 teams met in the first leg last season.
Well, the Arsenal Olympics, I remember, was last year, the Business Olympics.
And Arsenal are the strangest of teams. Arsenal will find a way to play like the best football club on the planet when you least expect them to.
Okay.
And back in the day, it really was about the Drogba factor, the Mourinho factor driving the team. I don't think that Antonio Conte has as much hold on this fixture as his predecessors have.
But
and I believe that
blitz anybody. His team's got this. They've got so much pace and power.
Don't forget that I'm still not fully sold on Chelsea. I mean, for those of you who are out there, yes, I'm still wearing the jersey. Don't worry. I'm still not fully sold on Chelsea quite yet.
They started winning.
they have started winning. But this is, look, we can say all we want. Arsenal are in shambles. They lose to everybody. Arsenal are still Arsenal. That's what I say. Reputation is everything. They build their reputation over time. This will be a big game. I just hope, look, that the manager will make reasonable selection
That
options.
is the thing. Arsene Wenger sacrificed his team a few weeks ago against Liverpool.
It didn't make any sense to go and purchase Lacazette for record money only to put him on the bench for workaholic Welbeck. It did not make any sense at all. The good news now is that Danny Welbeck found 2 goals in his last game.
Could that be more reason why? Couldn't it be more reason why he could start ahead of Lacazette?
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. Because if you compare Lacazette and Welbeck as strikers, everything Welbeck does and Lacazette does as well, Lacazette does better. Better pace, better finishing, better technique. Perhaps Welbeck works more. If he does work more, find a role for him where there's more work, not in the striking department. Better hold up play and everything. As a Wenger selection, I believe, will be key to this game. The game will be lost when the team sheets are out. If Arsenal have a chance to win in this game, it will depend on what sort of lineup Wenger will put out there. And as for Antonio Conte, I'm still trying to figure out what they are doing with the middle of the park at Chelsea. I know that they have won quite a number of matches impressively, but they need to show more. They need to show more ruthlessness. They need to show more conviction in their games. Eden Hazard is also just about coming in.
I saw him play last night. He looked slightly off color to me.
Well, I mean, he lacks matches under his belt, so hopefully that this sort of game should repair that. Remember what he did.
The kind of game you throw him in, a game where you need everybody to be full throttle. It's the kind of encounter you throw him into.
Well, like I was saying a little earlier on the show, sometimes these things are not even too much about the technicalities and the tactics. Guess what? Eden Hazard took the ball from the center of the park in the last time they played, ran the whole length of the pitch and finished. All Hazard needs to do is to tap into his mind and say, oh, it's that team again. It's that same Arsenal team again. I'm going to do my thing. And that's what Didier Drogba used to do to Arsenal. It didn't matter if he was injured, if he had one leg, if he had a pedicure, if he had it didn't matter. All Didier Drogba needed was to remember that it was nothing but Arsenal. All Hazard needs to remember is that this is the team I scored a wonder goal against. Click, light bulb goes off in his head, and then Hazard will destroy.
You see, that game is at 12:30 on Sunday, and that takes us to our 3 p.m. game. Man United will come back with Rooney, and he'll be coming to Old Trafford for the first time since he left, and for the first time in over 12 years since he won an Everton shirt and played at Old Trafford. United themselves are hoping to pick up after last week's draw. Everton are hoping to recover after losing at home to Spurs. This should be a good collision.
If there's one thing I've observed and learned about Rooney over the years, is that he has a natural thing for scoring on big days. It doesn't matter how bad a game he has. If he's thrown on for 5 minutes, he has a knack for scoring when there's a milestone up there to be grabbed. And that's what United should be careful of. I don't need to talk about Wayne Rooney's motivation coming back to play against Manchester. He has it in bags and then some behind him. So obviously he will be motivated. I am more worried about Ronald Koeman and what his Everton setup is doing. Because, look, so far, I have not seen the Everton I was expecting to see.
I've watched a few videos. Everton fans who are beginning to turn up the heat slightly and say that this man said he wanted money to build his team.
Now he
was given money. And they are not happy with this team.
I'm not happy with his signings at all. I'm not happy. Look, you take away Joe Sigurdsson and
even that he's not even utilized.
And Pickford, the goalkeeper. I'm not happy with the signing. And he keeps playing Tom Davies every game. Tom Davies has been terrible. All the matches Everton have played, he's been the weakest point. Midfielders, his opposing midfielders have run him ragged in the middle of the park. And that's where Everton's problems have come from this season.
And you don't want to do that against Nemanja Matic.
Ghana Gay has done as much as he possibly can. He's been Ghana Gay all season, intercepting, hacking down players and picking up yellow cards. What Everton needs in that middle of the park is a calm head like what they had in a guy like Gareth Barry. Somebody to slow down the pace of the game.
And they sold him on to West Brom.
And spray on 30-yard, 20-yard passes. Who does that for them now? Nobody. Who is capable of doing that for them now? Gylfi Sigurdsson. Where is he playing? On the left wing. Does that make any sense? It does not make any sense for me. Sandro Ramirez. Again, if I had money to spend on a striker, Nathan, 10 million, just 10 million.
Not Sandro
I wouldn't
Ramirez.
go buying Sandro Ramirez.
So who do you think Ronnie Koeman should have been signing? He had £75 million from the Lukaku sale.
Look, there are quite a number of cheap, ready to go forwards out there. I can't tap into my brain to pull out any particularly cheap option now. But I still feel that they could have done better business than San. Perfectly Llorente. Because he's miles ahead of Sandro Ramirez. And Sandro Ramirez, again, is falling into the category of players who look exceptionally busy on match days but don't produce any end result. And that's what I've seen from him in the past couple of days. He really needs to change that. Look, do the basic things. I saw in one of the Everton games this season, all they needed to do was throw Aaron Lennon onto the wing and the match would have been different all game. Guess what? They threw him on 10 minutes and the game looked like what it should have been in the entire 80 minutes. They need to be able to sort out these things. Don't these guys watch video? Don't they watch tape? Don't they see who needs to be out there and who doesn't need to be out there? They have more advices than you and I can ever think about. But I'm telling Ronald Koeman again, playing Gylfi Sigurdsson on the left-hand side and persistently playing Tom Davis when he is no better than Winfrey Kobina will get him fired quicker than Slaven Bilic. I'm telling you. It will get him fired, especially when they've spent money.
United won't have Paul Pogba. What's the combination they should try out if they want to win this encounter in midfield?
Perfect. This is why Jose Mourinho is a genius sometimes. Because now he has a world-class defensive midfielder in Ander Herrera and Matic. You can throw in Herrera, you can throw in Matic, you can throw in Mkhitaryan or Mata just to augment them in that midfield, depending on what game style and what sort of system you are trying to play. But United have depth, and that is a big deal. That's a big deal. If you think of, I think about it this way, that yes, Pogba was just about picking up steam before they lost him, and it's a big blow. But you look at the sort of team United have, and you really do not have any reason to be worried if players will perform to their expected ability. If they perform to their expected ability, we could see Ander Herrera having one of those games that have me thinking that why is this guy not mentioned among the top 10 central midfielders in the world? He's out there warming the bench these days. Perhaps that would have bruised his ego a little. He will go out there and give the manager a match to remember. We'll
see. So United drew at Stoke. Ander Herrera didn't play too well, but fans are hoping that he will pick up and then fare better against Everton on Sunday. So that's our show for today. It's been a fantastic time. Thank you very much, Ben, for having you here. Let me go through some of the messages. Ekobroni Dickens says, Man United. Ibn Ezado says, we say Chelsea. Kwame Charles says, the only thing beating my mind with this Chelsea team is the attack. Morata should step up. Well, he has an opportunity against Arsenal on Sunday. We are at the Badu Lounge in Laboni, near the Chase restaurant. So if you don't know where it is, it's near Chase restaurant. Come out in your numbers. Let's have fun. Let's play FIFA. Let's enjoy the food, the drinks, the ambience, everything. We'll have a fantastic time. Nathan Quao here. Preview show is up. Next Wednesday we'll be back, and hopefully by then we'll be discussing more exceptional stories. And we'll find out if Slaven Bilic still has a job as West Ham United boss. Thank you. Catch you next week and enjoy the rest of your day.
They'll go with the 4-4-2 diamond formation for that early lead. An early goal will settle the nerves.
The away team has been in bad form. They will feel the pressure.
The home side's kept 2 clean sheets in a row.
It's all about momentum.
Who will have the stamina to last the 90 minutes?
The star striker is suspended.
They've got no kappa.
The marking will be tight.
This will be won or lost in the midfield.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway, for the love of the game.
Inside the last minute of the opening 45 here.
Scores. 1. Who? Red. Red? Blue.
What? Scores! What a way to finish the first half!
Scores.
Pulls it up.
Halftime. Scores!